Okay, everyone, we have a special guest for you guys today. And he is, Senior Vice President of Trading at Tidal. We know him as the King of Misty himself. He was kind enough to join us this morning. And I'm going to add him to the stage right now. I'm sure most of you know who he is at this point, but I'm going to click add and welcome him to the channel. Good morning, Scott. Welcome.
Hey, I can't see the chat. I don't know why.
See the chat?
Yeah.
If I pull up,
good morning,
that,
everybody.
do you see that or no?
It says chat with everyone in the studio. Looks like I'm in a studio chat with just me and you. Comments. Okay, I got it now. There we go.
Okay.
Hey, everybody.
All right. So, Scott, I know it's early, and I appreciate
just
you joining nice and early with the community. This was kind of a surprise to the community. I didn't, wanted to make them sweat it out a little bit. I'm sure some may have had an idea, but again, thank you for joining. But for those that may have been living in a closet and maybe don't know who you are, I know you've been around social media now a lot lately. Do you mind giving like a quick background of your history and how you got involved with YieldMax and Tidal?
My history goes back to really the 80s, where I started trading as an independent market maker on the floor of the CBOE. So I was trading only my own money. I did that for 20 years. Then I owned a DPM, Amazon, WorldCom, National Semiconductor, AIG. Those got out of that in 2000, 2001. Then my buddies started Thinkorswim. I went over with Thinkorswim, started a retail advisory there called Thinkorswim Advisors. Then TD Ameritrade came and bought Thinkorswim. And that's when I met Jay during that merger. And then Jay left TD Ameritrade, became an independent advisor. I was running the institutional option business at TD Ameritrade. We stayed in touch. Schwab came and bought TD. I stayed on for that merger. And then Jay, he started this YieldMax. And he had Zega Investments, which is his RIA, and started YieldMax, and just asked me if I wanted to come along for the ride. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So here I am.
Nice. Yeah. So what funds are you currently involved with? Obviously, you're the Misty man, right? Which everyone knows you for. But are there any other funds that you'd like to tell the community you're involved with?
Yes, I'm involved with all of them. So every single one. We've got a team that all reports up to Jay, but then they all report up to me. And so every single fund, it's my responsibility along with Jay's for everything that's going on.
Nice.
But Misty's the one that my little baby that I watch over, but it's really all of them.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. That's a lot to handle. So every time they file a new one ready to launch, you're like, oh man, here we go. Right?
Yeah. So now they're putting my name on all those prospectuses. Yeah.
What's the latest one? I think Dre, right?
Dre was last week, 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow. All right.
We got a great team. So it's really a team effort. It's not me by any means. There's a bunch of us, and we talk every day. We talk all day. We throw ideas around with each other, and it's really a team effort between us all.
Definitely. Shout out to the team at Tidal, working hard, behind the scenes. And I know it's not easy. It can't be.
It's fun. This is what we listen. The guys on my team, they're all traders at heart. Some of them are ex-CBOE guys themselves with myself. So this is what we love to do. We live and breathe options. So it's great when you get to do what you love.
Yeah, exactly. And to this level, it's like
very, very fortunate and very happy to be where I'm at right now, doing what I really love to do.
Hey, Ulti, 2 billion. Congrats on that. That's a big one there.
Yeah. There's a guy named Quinn. He's down in Palm Beach that is the primary manager on that. We bounce ideas off each other every day on that one, and it's crazy.
Yeah,
it is. That's fun to manage also.
Definitely. All right, we have our first question, which
can I just say something first, Mark?
Absolutely.
So the vol that you guys are using, where are you getting the numbers from?
So
Because I can tell you, like the vols that we're using are different than what you're using.
Mhm.
And I'm using the option volatility. So if you go on the option platforms, any of them, they give you the option chains week by week, and they'll show you
Yeah,
the volatility. So for example, in Misty last week, vol started to go up. I was selling mid to upper 60s vol.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, no, I see that too because I use Thinkorswim when I do options,
there
and
you go.
I see the weekly vol. It's always higher than what I'm showing on my sheet. But I pull from Alpha Query, and it's the 30-day IV. That's what they call it.
Mhm.
So I assume it's an average
I
of
think that's just the stock though. That's not taking into account the options. I think that's just purely stock volatility, not where they're pricing options.
yeah.
I could be
I mean,
wrong. I'm
no, I
not
mean
sure, but
it's
um,
something I need to look into for sure. Again, I'm not going to be sitting here typing in IV. So if I can formulate something, this is
so
to
the
my
one thing to notice is when there's an earnings on any
yeah,
stock, you'll notice that 1 week sticks out like a sore
exactly.
thumb. It's really high.
Yeah,
So those are the weeks that we love because we get to sell so much higher. Except Misty's earnings don't really matter. It's just Bitcoin
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
much. But so
exactly.
you can't really tell on the option chain when Misty's earnings are, but you can with pretty much 99% of all stocks.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. No, that's something I've been wanting to look into to use. But I guess what's a website you would say would have is like bar chart or
I'm not really sure because I use Toss also.
yeah. Okay.
But any of them will have it. Robinhood, Tasty
Yeah.
Trade, all of them will have it.
Yeah, because that's obviously a key indicator on most of what I do, the implied volatility.
Yeah.
So we want to
I'm
get
not
that.
sure what website streams the option vol because it changes so much. And
Yeah,
it's not a look back for historical 30 days. It's live real time, like week by
yeah,
week. So it changes pretty much. It could change 5 points in an hour
exactly.
or half an hour sometimes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, let me look into that. I'll get back to you on that. See what I can find. Are you ready for some community questions, or did you
Yeah.
want
The
to
other
get to?
thing that I wanted to ask, specifically, if people had questions around the synthetic and how that works, and the trading of the synthetic and what that actually means for the fund, because I see a lot of misinformation around the synthetic that when the stock's up, we should sell the synthetic and we should move it to this or that or whatever. The synthetic, without the synthetic, if we touched it, there would be no funds. The synthetics are in all the funds. We leave those, we set them and forget them. They doesn't matter. They're just designed to mirror the underlying 100% up and down. So we only touch those when we have to roll them out in time. And whatever we are paying for that, not holding the stock, but holding the synthetics, we make up with our T-bills. So if anyone
Yeah.
has any questions around synthetics, throw them in.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I'm looking at. I just want to make sure on YouTube we're showing visually because now I'm looking. Let me just check something real quick.
So I see one. What specific factors determine whether the IV goes up or down in Misty? And I can tell you that's purely supply and demand on options. So when there's a lot of buyers or sellers, or there's some like I noticed on Friday. Well, the stock has gone up a lot, but in the last week it came down quite a bit. Vol stayed kind of steady, and it's not normal. Most stocks, when they go down, volatility goes up.
Yeah.
MSTR is a little bit different. It seems like when it's about to make big up moves, volatility goes up. So there's that's really one of the factors. It's supply and demand on the options, and it definitely. So you think everyone keeps saying that Misty influences the option markets, holding down vol? Well, it's not even close to being true. It
Yeah.
upticked like 10 points on Friday, close to.
Yeah. No, sorry. Everything's working smooth on the channel.
Okay.
This one gave a super chat, so I'm going to ask it first. Question for Scott. Thank you. What happens to Misty when Bitcoin trades volume very low? What about when no more shares left? Will YieldMax cap what we can hold?
Yeah. So the amount of shares or synthetics that YieldMax holds in any given underlying doesn't really matter. It's really we're trading the options, and the share amount of shares don't dictate the price of the ETF. It's all about the underlying stock and the options trading around that, the calls that we sell, the vol that we sell. So the amount of shares that we create with our synthetics will not affect the price of the ETF at all. As far as how many outstanding shares there are, it's purely the underlying stock.
Yeah, I don't know if they're talking about that or when there's no Bitcoin left.
Oh,
yeah, I guess. I mean, that's a ways from now, but
well, there's a couple different theories on what vol is going to do when the price of Bitcoin goes higher or lower. So, everyone's got their own opinion, but nobody really knows.
Mm-hmm. Here's the IV question. What specific factors determine whether the IV goes up or down?
I think that's the one I was just
that's the one you just read.
About.
Okay.
Really, it's all about.
They say MISTI. I assume they mean MSTR, but
yes, it's for all. It's it's basic economics, supply and demand with everything. Prices go up when people want to buy, and they go down when there's no buyers. So, go on the downside. There is always a point where the big institutional money will step in and they'll say, okay, it's cheap enough. I'm buying it. And there's no amount that I can sell in the world that's going to get them out of the way. They will stay there and bid and bid and bid when it gets to a certain level. I think we saw that when it was close to around 50 a couple weeks ago, 55-ish.
Yeah. Okay. Question. I think I know the answer to this, but who determines the distribution for each, and when is it determined? I believe it's Monday, and it's for the prior weeks.
Tomorrow we will have a meeting with Jay and Mike are the primary factors of the team that decides. They look at the 4-week back period. We look at the vol for each individual week and whether there was any appreciation or not. But primarily, first and foremost, is the volatility for each individual 4-week period. That's number one. Then we'll look to see if there's any appreciation in the underlying.
Okay.
So for MISTI, it was. I know you said it was 50s, but the option vol was actually higher. It was more in the 60s.
All right, that works out because my guesstimate is in the high 60s. So,
yeah, and a lot of people mention, I can't say too much about dividends, but a lot of people talk about the dollar amount, and obviously, you really want to look at the percentage, not really the dollar. I think people should care more about the percentage than the dollar amount.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, even if my number's $1.11, right? Right now, that's showing to be a 69% yield. To be mad about a 69% yield, I was joking about on the video a second ago, is insane, right?
Yeah, I mean, and you can go back and look at the last 4-week period. So what do we got? We've got Appley, AMZ, some good ones coming up. Simsi, that really had a really nice 4-week period as far as appreciation goes.
XYZY did really good too.
Yeah, but that's right. So there's a bunch of names coming up that really did very well the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, I think SimC. I always call SimC the underdog. I know they took a beat down early on from that audit news, but they're pretty solid since then.
It was like as soon as we launched that fund, that news came out, and it was. But we've seen a lot of action in it.
Yeah, sometimes the timing doesn't work out, but you guys for the Plady and Hui, great timing, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you, the vol right now in SMCI is like going out 2 weeks. It's in the 90s. I don't know that. So next week's is about 75, but then we're close to 100 August. So maybe that's earnings week.
Yeah. I'm showing 74, which obviously is much lower. So
for next week, that's about right. But you go out to the week of August 8th, it's close to 100.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. I have to
real juicy premiums there.
Yeah, always. All right. Let's see what else we got. All right, that's not. Well, I mean, I know you can't talk about this, but yes, I mean, it's possible they could pay under $1, right? It's you know,
Yeah, I mean, it's not that it shouldn't be that hard to figure out. Like
yeah,
with the guidelines that I gave you, going back with the
yeah,
volatilities week by week for the last 4 weeks, and then whether the stock had any appreciation or not, that's all contributes to the payout.
hmm okay. Um, There's a question: how many people manage each ETF, or are the same people on the Misty fund, on Coney, and other funds, or are they split up?
That's a good question. So they are split up. Everybody's assigned their own funds, and I will oversee those people with each fund. So with Coney specifically, we've got a real veteran. He was on the floor of the CBOE. His name is Chris. I traded with him on the floor. These guys are really experienced, but yeah, they report to me, to Jay. But yeah, each person is assigned, 5 to 10 different funds, and then it's pretty much a team effort. So they make the initial decisions on their own, and we can all help each other, guide each other through what we think is the best time to roll, what to roll into, things like that. But yeah, there's a lot of different people on each fund, but there's one specific person assigned, and then it's a team effort.
Yeah. So I know Misty's probably the answer, but excluding Misty, what individual covered call ETF would you say is probably the hardest to trade?
Coney, the last month's been pretty hard.
Coney,
Yeah, they ever since the news that it went into the S&P 500, it's just been gapping. It doubled, and that was really hard to keep up with, because if it opens and runs during the day, we have time to manage it. But these gap openings, those are the killers. Those are the ones but we were pretty much spread with long calls that went way in the money almost every single week. So we made up a lot of it, but that was gapping and gapping and gapping.
yeah.
But yeah, none of them are. I would say that's really the other one. But yeah, Tesla, Tesla every once in a while. The last couple of weeks been a little tricky, but it's been okay. It's definitely done okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Just looking at the returns over here. Keep a spreadsheet of returns up all day. Always watching.
You got multiple screens going.
Yeah, I got 4 going right now.
You got 4? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 2 right now. But slow and steady upward movement finishing below our strikes, or fast explosive upward movement? I know Jay's response, but would be good to hear your perspective.
Yeah, so slow and steady up will always be the best, but I would much rather be scrambling to buy back my short calls that are in the money for an explosive up move than what happened on Friday when I was buying back these calls for a penny because the stock was down. I would much rather be scrambling on the upside and buy all the way up. We always want it to go up. We all do. We're all long it. We want it to go up.
So those the calls that you buy on the weekly to do the credit call spread, sometimes they remain open. I assume it's because you can't get the penny, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So they'll stay on the holdings and drop off on the Tuesday, or
it's pretty rare these last couple of weeks or a month that there hasn't been a long call that was sold, but we haven't had any long calls in Misty specifically for a long time until this last period. We put on, it's like 35,000 only. So, 25% of the fund, it has long calls. 22% of the fund is uncovered to the upside right now. So we went a little bit closer to at the money, sold a bunch of premium. So Friday was interesting because we came into the day only covered with about 30% of the fund, because the rest of the fund had these out of the money calls that I was buying back worthless. And the stock was down all day. I waited till about 2:15 Eastern Central Time on Friday to start to sell the calls for next week. So really the last hour of trading is where all these calls were sold. The stock ran up to 410, and I got most of the calls off. And then right in the last 15 minutes, it dropped back down to 405. But it was around 410 from the last 45 minutes of trading, which was nice. So we got some calls off around. That's where we got the majority of those 430s off at. We sold those closer to $5 and up. So that was nice on Friday.
Yeah, there's a good setup for next week. And the synthetics they've been looking good.
Yeah, and like I said, the synthetics are just MSTR stock, and so the synthetics, I know, like we've got the 390, 395, but listen, when the stock could go to 700, that's not going to change our mind. We're going to roll them when the time comes that we have to, because they're going to expire, or the clearing firms for some reason want us to adjust our strikes, which happens mostly on the downside though with the short put. So otherwise we will never touch them.
You'll have to close them. What if they go up too high? You'd have to roll them.
No, really, it's really if the stock goes too low.
Too low. Okay.
There's a margin requirement from OCC that the primes that we custody these funds at have to put up, and if the put becomes too big a position, $2 wise, they ask us to roll down the strike price. That's really it. It's not a big deal. It does not affect the pricing of the fund whatsoever. Like I said, the synthetics, the strike price, I could have on the $1 strike price, the $10, the 100 strike price, or the 1,000 strike price. It's not going to affect the performance of the fund at all. It's going to move dollar for dollar with MSTR stock.
Yeah, and as long as when you close the position, you just have to open the new one right away, or else it's not really going to track.
So, and that's a good point. So we do that as a spread. When we close our existing synthetic, we open the new one up at the exact same price where the stock is to the penny. So we don't take any market risk when we close the synthetic. We call it a jelly roll. It's rolled from 1 month to the next, and it's done as a 4-way spread. So we sell the synthetic and then we buy the other one. It's done as 4 legs all at once, and there's no pricing risk for the stock at all.
Yeah, the trade doesn't go through unless all 4 go through at the same time.
That's right. So when we buy our other ones, we are selling it at the exact same time. We're taking zero market risk, zero opinion on the stock when we do that. There's just way too much risk to leg something like that.
Yeah. Can LFGY hold Bitcoin?
No.
I mean,
it can't. We're not allowed to hold the physical Bitcoin.
Yeah, you can hold versions of it, right? Although like YBIT, it's not.
Yes, we can hold the ETFs that hold Bitcoin.
Yeah. Yep. But the IV is probably kind of weak on those.
Yeah, but the YBIT, let's see, YBIT, our ETF has done extremely well. It doesn't get enough love. YBIT. It is our version of a Bitcoin ETF. We're selling calls on Bitcoin. It's a pure 100% Bitcoin play.
Misty ruined it. Misty kind of over.
Yeah, but I mean, YBIT is a clear Bitcoin play because it holds
exactly.
Yeah, it holds. We can trade the CBOE index for Bitcoin, which is a 100% pure Bitcoin play.
Definitely.
Yeah, we don't talk about that one a lot because we don't get many questions, but it's done really well.
I know it's crazy. So I know the answer. Most people probably heard you and Jay talk about this, but I think it's always good to tell people who may not be familiar with it. Why didn't a company like YieldMax exist 10 or 20 years ago? Obviously, the rules and regulations, right? They were against you. They didn't allow ETFs like this. I don't know if you have any.
Yeah, this question's really not in my wheelhouse, more in Jay's wheelhouse. But I really don't know the exact regulation reasonings behind it.
Yeah.
But, it's just a lot of times it's just like no one really thought of it. Why didn't people think of it? And now where short-term options over the last 5-10 years have just exploded in popularity, it allows us with the weekly options, especially. They weren't available years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So I haven't heard. Well, I've heard of this. Is this a thing, livestream?
Yeah. They're coming. I don't know when, but shortly. It's just a covered call, another version of a covered call ETF we're real excited about it. It's going to be great. They're going to be on all of our big names. It's going to be a little bit more of a traditional type covered call ETF, but they are all coming shortly.
So are they trading leverage funds?
No. So there's a couple different versions. There's one like MST right now, which has leverage, a little bit of leverage 2 times where it sells 1. And then there's more coming out with just holding the same synthetic that we're holding now, but selling covered calls on a monthly basis.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of new funds coming.
Are these under YieldMax though, or are they under something else?
There's some YieldMax coming, yes.
That are for 11. All right.
Yeah, there's some YieldMax coming, and they will be launching in August, hopefully.
But LevMax is under YieldMax, or is it under another company? Okay. All right. Let's see. Is your team only doing options on YieldMax funds, or does your options team do other Tidal customers?
So you can, so we're Tidal. We merged with Tidal January of 2025. So we are handling all of the derivatives ETFs for all of Tidal customers. YieldMax is one of them.
Yeah. Okay. And like MST under Defiance.
Yes.
Yeah. And some of the others. Okay. Steven says people care about the synthetic because that's what makes bank brah, right? Because again, when the synthetic, when we roll it, we see it makes a lot of money. Typically, will be.
It's very important, and just to know, like we don't have to close that if there's a big gain. It's called mark to market versus closing a position. You can have big gains in the underlying without closing it, mark to market on that 4-week period that we could or could not choose to pay out.
Yeah, definitely. You hold back. I know everyone's always asking, like, because the fiscal year and everything ends 10/31. How much are they holding back? So everyone's thinking they're going to get a massive bonus payment before the end of the year. But all right, how we kind of talked about this. How is the liquidity of MSTR affected by such a large fund like Misty?
Well, I was talking about earlier. It really my order. So just think about the size. You see the size. It's 136,000 combos. So we're selling close to 130,000 calls a week, and I work those options over the course of a day or two. But I could do them all in an hour if I want to. There's a ton of liquidity. So I'm trying to average out the price over time to smooth out the returns of the fund and not do it all at once. But there's plenty, there's so much liquidity. And like I said, when it gets to a certain point, people step in and they will buy, and there's not enough options for me to sell. The appetite for the options in MSTR is unlimited right now. I mean, it's huge.
What would be the least liquid fund that maybe YieldMax has?
I would say for any product, you get to a certain point, liquidity steps in. It's like if something is mispriced, the machines go off and the whole world jumps to it. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be any stock, it could be any derivative anywhere. If it gets out of line or too cheap for their models, money floods to it. So there is no one specific fund at all that could be affected. It's just the supply and demand will determine it at first, but then the big money will come in if they think it's out of line.
Okay. I know this still comes up. Its question never ends. I'm assuming the answer is no, but is Misty ever going to pay weekly?
Right now, no. Yeah. Right now, no. Yeah.
I hope they don't. I like the way it is now. I always say, why disrupt it?
Yeah, it's working. I know everyone loves the weeklies, which is why we went ulti weekly.
Yeah, and then the people want daily, just so you know.
Yeah,
it's not good enough anymore.
Yeah, and I know other people are bringing out weeklies, but
and
I saw a question about Salty. So That
Yeah.
is a fund that we plan on launching pretty shortly. There's been a lot of talk about it just recently.
That's the inverse ulti or what?
Yeah, so it's going to be ulti, except we're going to be scanning for stocks that have high vol, number one, and that we think will go down in value. So the exact opposite of ulti.
Okay.
High vol to sell put premium. So we'll be selling puts in this fund. We'll be short the stock and sell puts versus long the stock and selling calls. And then we will buy some upside calls for protection in case it runs up, just like we buy out of the money puts in ulti to protect the downside.
Yeah.
So the exact opposite.
That's going to be,
yeah.
It's going to get so, you're going to have so many funds. It's just so complicated.
That's pretty simple. That was, we're just looking for high vol names. And, we do scans, and some of the names in that we find in ulti, the volume is not what it needs to be for us to pursue it. So there are some times where the scans in ulti will come up with a name that we won't play because there's just no volume.
So will we be seeing swaps in the future? I believe Jay said the swaps will only be used if needed. Maybe if the concentration rule kind of gets to you and you need to.
Swaps they're very useful and can be used and will be used if we need to. Right now we do not with these funds. The leveraged funds use swaps. It's easier to manage leveraged funds with swaps, but these funds don't need to. But we have the ability to add swaps, and we have tons of swaps providers that give us the swaps if we need them.
Okay. Yeah. So swaps are, like you said, mainly it's easier to get the leverage.
Yes.
And
it's like a built-in. It's a product that has the leverage already built into it. So it's just your counterparty and you decide on what you want it to be. It's kind of like a flex option where you can customize it to do whatever you want it to be.
Here's a question. I know I see Oklo. I call it Oklo. It's in the ulti. Is there going to be an individual Oklo?
We're talking about it. Absolutely. It's on the list, and it's high up on the list.
Yeah. You got some volatile ones in there, and that's one of them for sure.
It is on the list. Let's see. What's the vol right now? Yeah, it's 110%. That's a great one.
Wow. Yeah. You need something like that now, because if you look at the individual ones, no one's, SMCI maybe close, right? I don't think anyone's over 100.
Palantir, So when earnings is really right now is when the vol is really jumping up during earnings weekend, and earnings are coming up for a lot of these stocks. We're in earnings period right now. Started 2 weeks ago with banks, and now we're getting some of the Mag 7 earnings. Looks like Palantir's earnings are going to be the week of the 8th. I can see it in the option chain. It sticks out. The vol is 90 for 2 weeks from now. Next week's vol is in the mid 50s. So that's how much it jumps up. So you go from a $9 expected move in Palantir next week to a $21 expected move for 2 weeks. It's more than doubled.
Wow. The
options are pricing more than a double. So that's where, every quarter we get a chance to sell that really high vol.
It's good.
Yeah.
Well, this one just says they love BRKC. I assume that fund's probably easy to run, right?
Yes, it's Berkshire. It's it's pretty simple.
It doesn't move too much.
Yeah, Jay tells the story all the time. That was one of the original YieldMax ideas around, was kind of creating a cover call around Berkshire. But then Jay decided, let's pick higher volatility names to do it with. But then we eventually came out with Berks. So
I remember that was
a year and a half. 2 years.
It was on the first filing, right? With like Tesla OARC. That was one of them, a few others. But it never came out. And people kept wondering, like, when's it going to come? But I don't think they thought it would be popular enough. But I think obviously you guys are big enough now that there's going to be probably interest for it, since people, it wouldn't stick out in the past, right? Like
that's right.
15% yield. They're like, oh, wow, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, now a lot of Hui sticking out, Palantir sticking out, SimC, they're sticking out with, of course, Misty, and the big
Yeah.
ones like Netflix and Coney.
Everyone's mad at Misty because Hui and Plady are, out showing them, but it's about to be at 200% house money, as I say, from 200% payback. The LevMax, I don't know if you know the LevMax funds. Will they be weekly?
I'm not sure. I can find out. I'll let you know. I'll
Okay.
let you know. I'm not sure if they're going to be weekly or monthly.
Okay. Well, after the daily, we're going to need 30-minute payers. All right. So I think that's doable, right?
And Reddit is also very high on the list for a YieldMax fund coming out. I think it's top 5. So it'll be one of it's coming out shortly.
Yeah.
I don't know when, but hopefully very shortly.
Yeah. They filed that one a while ago too. So I assume that would be next. Maybe throw that one in Group A. Group A needs some love in there.
Is it a little bit light?
Yeah. Well, it needs like something to make, a little oomph, right? Like Hui did, right? Hui's
Yeah, when they broke those up, they tried to put a big name in each one, but as time goes along, things shift.
Exactly. Yes.
All right,
Hui
we'll put Reddit in Group A, right?
Reddit in Group A, yeah.
All right.
Because I know you just added Dre with Hui, but Hui now took over Coney. I feel like for now, popularity wise, just for the time being.
Coney's still very popular, but yeah, Hui right up there, and Palantir.
Yeah.
But Hui is, the stock's done great.
Yeah, exactly. I know YBIT's in Group A too, but again, that's underappreciated like some of these others. Do you have someone just as skillful as you who could step into your position if in case, oh, God forbid, here we go, they're writing you off. Or we'll say you retire soon, right?
Yes, I am. That's what part of my job is training people to take over my job. So I am training multiple people that are very skillful and could just step into my shoes in a second. I'm very replaceable in a heartbeat. These guys are awesome. The team is great.
There you go. Yeah, I think you said it's a bear market play.
It doesn't have to be a bear market play. It would work in a bear market, but it's so funny. We haven't seen a bear market. Like, would we have it for like a couple of days in April? That's it. Bear markets are a thing of the past, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it doesn't have to be a bear market. We just scan for stocks that have a high IV. Even if the stock goes sideways or even up, you still can make money with high vol selling options. So it doesn't necessarily have to always go down to make money. Just like with Ulti, stocks don't have to go up. We can still make money in Ulti if they go sideways or down or up a little bit.
Yeah. Where do you see the future of high yield ETFs in 10 years?
I mean, I think this is a whole new category that's been created here that I was not aware of, truthfully. Like, this was new to me up until the last 18 months. This was a category of investments that I had not heard of and didn't know that existed. So I think we're just at the beginning of it. This is just a whole new category, and where people can allocate a certain amount of their retirement or their funds to this new category.
Yeah, I think most people don't know what it is or never heard of it, and the people that kind of know what it is, it's just to them so risky, and they don't have a comfort level in it. But I think it's going to be like more of a regular, option. Maybe like you never know in the 401ks, it could be like, part of that, or obviously there's so much growth that is out there still. I know you guys are growing fast.
Yeah, I agree. And really, when I first started speaking with Jay, about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago now, I was not aware of these funds. I just was in my own little world.
QYLD though, right? QYLD.
Yeah, but I wasn't aware of these high-paying ones.
Yeah.
And the amount of option selling that was going on. I was running Schwab's institutional option desk. I was trading my own account, but this universe did not come into my world. And now it's funny. I interview people for jobs that are on trading desks around the country, and they tell me that customers call in That's how they heard about job openings. They started looking into our company. Customers call in and say, "Hey, I want to buy YieldMax funds. Can you tell me? Can you help me out?" So it's crazy.
What was your first reaction though when Jay called you, or when you found out about YieldMax?
Well, it was first and foremost, it was Jay. Jay and I go way back, so we've had a relationship. So without Jay, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have come if Jay wasn't here. So it was really what Jay told me he was doing that I had the confidence in himself. I had more confidence in him than I had in the product. The product just happened to be what Jay's vision was, but I was really going along because of the confidence I had in Jay. And this product that I've been learning about just happened to be fantastic.
Definitely. I'm glad he talked you into jumping over. Thank you, Andrew Jackson. Here's some thank you, Scott. And again, yeah, thank you for. I'm not sure if you're a morning person. I assume you are.
I am a morning person. I mean, Sunday mornings I probably would have slept in a little bit more, but
yeah.
I like getting. I get up early. I get up at 5 a.m. usually, pretty much every day without an alarm. So,
Group D guesstimate day. It's a big day,
Yeah.
But although Hui now the guesstimate for that. All right. So here's a question: what market triggers or global events are you most optimistic or pessimistic about?
I mean, so daily you got to listen for Trump's tweets. That's pretty much what we're trading on. But markets had a heck of a run here. The trade wars are still out there, but nobody really cares about them. And then, really, it's all about Trump and taxes and trade wars.
Tariffs,
like that. It's really the only thing moving the market right now.
Yeah.
Interest rates will, hopefully something happens there shortly.
Sooner or later.
Yeah.
I think my guess is Salty would be weekly because Ulti is, but he's saying
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be weekly. A lot of what we call the basket funds. So like the Biggie, Soxy, LFGY, GPTY, moved all those to weekly.
Yeah. And it worked. I think it worked out that way.
Yeah.
But I like them. So this question, I'm sure always comes up. Does a hurt an investor hold Misty and Winter at the same time?
Not initially, but it will over long term.
Yeah.
You don't want to hold them both for a long period of time. You can for a short period of time. But yeah, as a long term play, that wouldn't probably be a smart thing to do. Because the stock's not going to stay flat. If the stock stays flat, it'll be great. Because you're selling puts, you're selling calls, you're selling an iron condor basically. But over the long run, you can get in and out. But I wouldn't hold them both. No.
Yeah. They said take over Murney, but I assume you're involved with Murney too, right? You said everyone. So
Murney, it's funny. When I first came to YieldMax, I don't know, Murney was like in the 40s or 50s or I don't know, 80s. No, maybe 80s. I don't know. It was way up there. It didn't have an uptick for 6 months. And I was trading Murney when I first started because I was trading a lot of them just to get into the groove of what was happening. And at Moderna, the stock just went down every single day. There's nothing we can do about it. It's just it lately though, it's looked pretty well. Looks like it's done very well lately.
Yeah, what is it?
It's all about Moderna stock.
Yeah.
But it's funny because that thing just went down for the first 6 months of me coming to YieldMax.
Yeah, it's at 252 right now. Crazy. But that thing, it's volatile. Moderna's volatile. So there's always premium there to be made, I'm sure.
Yeah, so Moderna right now, it is 100 vol for next week. It's a $34 stock. Yeah, it was more like around 100 when I joined. And it just went straight down.
Yeah.
Every single day. But, that's the type of stock where we have to have long calls because on any given day, that stock could be up 10, 15, 20%. So we're always going to have a long call with that.
Yeah.
We always do.
Okay. No. So before I pull up this question. I know we talked about it before. When you have, say, 25% of this synthetic like uncovered,
Yeah,
that could essentially represent the long calls, the credit call spreads, right? Because it's
yeah. Well, it actually does. It's better than having the long calls because it's basically it's the same thing as being long stock. So
yeah,
if I say we're 20% uncovered, that means
Mhm.
20% of the fund is actually long MSTR synthetically stock.
yeah,
So not out of the money options, but the actual underlying.
hmm
So it will move penny for penny, dollar for dollar with MSTR, 20% of the fund, up
yeah,
and down. Now, the reason why we can do something like that and still pay out the dividend is because we sold calls that we get a little bit more premium for to make up for that. So you can see we're short some of the 420s right now, 10,000 of those. That would not have been a position I would have initiated on Friday. I was initiating higher 430s, 435s. But to allow me to be able to just be long the stock, I have to collect more premium on some of the options I'm selling. They will go in the money quicker, but that's okay because we're long the stock.
yeah, exactly. This person wants a fund of funds for the weeklies.
Fund
I
of
know,
funds for the weeklies.
yeah,
Interesting idea.
that's a lot of funds.
It's easy to do because you just buy a
Yeah,
fund. So I'll bring that up. Fund of
yeah,
funds on the weeklies. Not a bad
yeah.
idea.
I guess that includes YMAX and YMAG too. I don't know.
Yeah,
But yeah, that would be
I like
very
it.
diversified.
I like it.
Yeah, exactly. Call it I don't know, WMAX for the week. I don't know.
The weeklies,
Yeah,
the fund
exactly.
of funds on the weeklies. Wow.
When opening a new fund, how do you determine the price? I believe it's just $50 now. I mean, that's essentially
Yeah, yeah.
so. Yeah,
It's just well, and it does have something to do. So if we're opening one on a stock that's not like a $20 stock or something, it's going to be lower. Um,
yeah.
let's see, where is DraftKings trading now?
DraftKings.
I mean, because we just launched DraftKings, and it's $51. DKNG.
Yeah, it's at 50.33.
Yeah. So I mean, if there was a $25 stock for some reason we were going to do a YieldMax fund on, then the price of the ETF would probably be 20 or 25. But
Oh, really?
we're probably. I think you'll see $50 going forward.
Okay. All right. So of the ones filed, I wonder if now looking at like INYY Intel is a $20 stock.
Yeah,
So
so I'm not sure if that would be 50 or not. I'll get back to you on that question. It's a
yeah,
good question. Jay would know the answer to that. I just don't. So
yeah.
I don't want to give you the wrong information, but I'll get back to you. It's a
Okay.
good question.
Yeah. Yeah. I just always assumed it'd be 50 no matter what.
Yeah, and you could be right. It could be just 50 going forward from now
on. Misty prediction. I said $1.11. Scott will blink twice if I'm right. No. Let's see. How
What
are
if I
you?
don't blink at all?
Yeah. Have you blinked at all?
No.
How are you considering MSTR's upcoming earnings, if anything, that might impact the price? I think that's
Yeah, so it's interesting because MSTR's earnings, it's one of the only companies on the planet that earnings really don't matter. It's all about what they say. Because it's a tiny, tiny little software company that holds Bitcoin. So the option chain is really what I like to call the Bible. That is what's going to tell you what's going on.
Exactly.
And like I said before, in MSTR stock, nothing sticks out during the earnings time frame like it does on every other stock.
Yeah, it moves, but not like it should, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they could possibly. It's not the earnings themselves; it's what they might possibly come out and say or do
say about Bitcoin
because they having an earnings call.
Yeah,
it's not the actual earnings because the earnings are just Bitcoin and what a guy. I think the software company's like 70 million a year or something. It's it's nothing.
So I know sometimes like a question like this would come up, but obviously it depends on the underlying, right? So if the underlying goes to zero, I think maybe Jay or someone said this in the past, if they see something like that happening, they may do something, in advance to get out of the fund.
Yeah, if there's news or there's regulatory filings or something like that, we will get out of the fund. That has not happened with any of the funds.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
yes, we can take action. But he's talking YieldMax specific. I mean, every single stock, NVIDIA would have to go to zero. Amazon, Apple would have to go to zero. If they went to zero, then I guess YieldMax wouldn't exist.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it would exist on other stocks.
Yeah, so every single underlying under YieldMax would have to go to zero. Okay, then there you go.
Yeah, they have to go to zero
Because
these funds they're just covered calls on the biggest companies in the world.
And I don't think they've had to close not one fund so far. Obviously, that could be a possibility that there's not interest in a fund. In that case, they would close it out and just pay the shareholders whatever the value is.
That if we opened a fund, for some reason we wanted to close it, we just distribute the money back. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. Is it possible to create a double leverage product of a YieldMax ETF?
It's possible, but we don't have any YieldMax leverage.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Like a double leverage Misty?
Yeah.
That's possible. Can you do a swap on Misty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's other, I mean, there's leveraged MSTR funds. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just thinking like
there's leveraged NVIDIA funds. There's leveraged everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they don't, most of those funds don't sell options. We do have a few that do, but the 2 times are just basically just 2 times, just like what you trade on some of the major index ETFs that are 2 times.
Yeah. I always say
doing those with options, but they do have the MST is a leveraged 1.5 times with options, or two times with options, 2 times with options on half.
Yeah. Don't take ticker Roddy. That's going to be for me one day. Right?
These guys are real sharp with getting tickers. They can file in about 30 seconds.
Steal it now. But here's the ticker for the weekly fund of funds, FUNY.
Funny.
I don't know if that's taken, but
okay.
Yeah, there you go. Bring that back. All right. What is this? Do a few more questions and go from there.
So is there any questions about how the options trading, like how the funds are managed with the options trading? Any specific options questions? I didn't see many, but I see a lot of people saying the funds get capped because of the covered calls and this and that, but these funds are very actively managed, and it's very rare that we ever really get capped. But income is the number one driver. So selling options to distribute the money for you for income is the number one driver. The growth is secondary, even though we do our best to thread that needle, like I say all the time. The income is the number one component, and I'd say it's very rare to get capped. It just doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
And if it does, I mean, it's a good thing. We're just going to lag a little bit, but you're making a lot of money.
Yeah. So when I think you would almost never go in the money, right? Or even at the money.
To initiate a trade?
Yeah.
No.
You would always be out of the money. Yeah. Obviously, when I post my trades, I'm using the end of day price.
Yeah.
If you do a trade that day, it could show in the money depending on what happens with the stock. But I just wanted to clarify that.
So right now, initiating trades in MSTR, like if I was going to initiate a new trade on Monday, I would be looking someplace around the 420 to 425 strike with the stock at 405. That's going to give me the good amount of volatility, selling about a $5 option to be able to distribute. Right now that's at 75%, but that's over a 4-week period. plus, or if the stock has any appreciation. So yeah, this stock usually has about a 25-point intraday swing. So what you see at the end of the day, if I do something in the morning and it's against me, yeah, it could be close to being at the money. In the money, kind of rare, but it definitely does move. That's why I tried to spread it out throughout the whole day to try to even. That's why there's so many strike prices on. I could start the day at 420, end the day selling 440s, and it's just.
I wish the intraday trade had the price of the stock when you did it. People ask me, "Oh, what was the price?" I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what time. I mean, I know you could look it up. You could probably see because the large volume of trades, but still, I'm not going to do all that.
Yeah, I mean, I can pretty much tell you. It's like I can tell you. So when we sold the 430s on Friday in MSTR, the stock was 410. When we sold all those, so the stock closed at 405. When we sold the 420s, the stock was around 404. I think the stock traded down to 402 on Friday. So there's right. So the 420s were sold when the stock was around 403, 404 maybe, and the 430s when the stock was 410. Those 440s were sold on Thursday or Wednesday when the stock was up around 455. I want to say we went because we did a spread with those. So
which is it worked out. Like our setup looks perfect for next week now with that.
Yeah, that's why the stock, I mean, it just got hit later in the week. That one big down day.
Yeah. Here's a good question. What triggers your decision to close the position that is blown through at the point? I assume like when you have the credit call spreads, you want to close them if we get blown through and then roll the strike price up. I guess at what point would you decide that?
That's a great question. I love that question. So with the call spreads, when the value of our long call becomes worth more than the extrinsic value left in our short calls, we're going to roll. So for example, if the 420 calls, for example, if they are basically if the stock goes up to like 425 and we're short those 420s and they're trading at like $5.50 and it's close to expiration. So that means there's only $0.50 of extrinsic left. And our long calls are trading for, let's say, $1. Our long calls are worth more than the extrinsic that's left that we can make in our short calls. So we're going to sell our long calls, buy back our short calls, and then sell another call.
Yeah.
That makes sense? So it's a great question. And people should understand this because this is a main part of how all the funds are managed. When the long call becomes worth more than the short call's extrinsic value left, we will definitely roll at that point. Now, let's just take, for example, if we don't have a long call, we will make a judgment when the extrinsic becomes too low that we feel the risk reward for the capping of the upside. Like if there's only $1 left and it's totally capped all of our upside, we can only make $1. If the stock reverses and goes back down, it helps the fund because we will make it all back. But if it continues to go up and we can only make another $1 in a stock like MSTR, we're probably going to start to cover those and sell closer to at the money or just out of the money same week to capture as much premium as we can for the next 2 or 3 days. So I'm talking about like on a Wednesday or something. If the stock has gone up big and it's blown through the strikes, I want to buy those back and I want to sell calls that are really, really close to at the money because that's where I'm getting the most bang for my buck. I'm selling the most premium.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because
So
I know.
Yeah, just that's a really good point, and it's something that we talk about every day.
Yeah, it's much harder, like you said, if you don't have the buy call, call spread.
But there's a lot of times where the stock will go up and we'll be short calls, and the long calls didn't help. So you have to make a decision. Okay, well, when do I take and buy those short calls back? Well, when those short calls become such a hamper that they do start to cap the stock with really no reward left of income, we want to cover. And then we try to stay in the same week so that we can capture as much short-term period premium as we can.
Maybe we'll do 1 or 2 questions, and I'll let you maybe have a question for the community if you have one. Why is you call Misty your baby. We know that, right? I guess he wants to know why.
I mean, I love them all. It's like asking what kid. I got 4 kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, Misty right now, it's a handful. I love it.
Yeah. It's just it's.
But I watch whatever's really moving. I'm watching a lot. Like my eye is all over Coney, Palantir, Hood, those stocks that are moving. Not so much. Even Nvidia is our second biggest fund. The fund manager on there is awesome. But the ones that are really moving a lot, that have risk of the calls going in the money, are the ones I'm really laser focused into.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because when you came over, right, Misty already existed, and that was probably the first fund you got involved with? Or?
No, it wasn't the first I got involved with. I'd say the first big one I got involved with was Coney.
Okay.
But yeah, it was just coming in. I needed to understand what the traders were doing, how they were entering orders. It's a lot more than just managing the fund, because there's a whole business side of this around the whole order entry, getting the orders filled, and then the back office, the operations of clearing all of these different options at 5 different primes, which means that we hold these positions at 5 different places, clearing firms, and making sure that all of that is correct.
You ever watch Coneheads?
Oh, Saturday Night Live? Yeah. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Nah, I don't know if you want. I'm sure you see when I cover Coney.
Oh yeah.
The Coney heads, like the sticker they had at the event. Gotta have fun with it, right?
But I mean, like if the community wants to tell me what they think I could be doing better, I always love to hear that. Like I mean, I read social media once in a while, not a lot, but I don't respond, but I see a lot of misinformation about things that they think we're doing that we're actually not. But I'd love to hear it. I'd love to answer questions about it too. If you think we're doing something that looks like really stupid, like bring it up. Let me know.
Okay. Yeah. So
I'd love to hear it, because I just
for the community right now. Then
right now, for sure.
Yeah. If you think Scott or Tidal,
any of the funds,
any of the funds are doing something wrong, speak now. And then obviously while they're doing that, Scott, is there anything? Speaking of misinformation, is there any particular item or something you hear that you just want to get clarified or speak of?
I mean, it's mostly around the capping of the stock and moving synthetics when the stock's up. You can't move synthetics. We won't have a fund if we move synthetics, or we trade in and out of synthetics, like trying to time the stock. And it's there's not much more to say that I didn't already cover.
Yeah. What's your opinion on the term NAV erosion? I know Mike. It's not his favorite word.
It's not. I don't. So if Nvidia goes from 170 to 168, is that NAV erosion? It's the same thing. So whatever you call that stock going down, that's what I would call Misty when it goes down. If Misty goes from 22 to 20, that it went down because MSTR went from 440 to 410. That's why MSTY went down. So if any stock goes down and you want to call that NAV erosion, go for it. I don't know.
Yeah. And I'll bring up, I guess this is a question from what you spoke of, which is kind of a good question. What triggers you to do the credit call spreads? I call them butt buddies sometimes because they're like attached at the hip.
Yeah, right? I get it.
Yeah, all right.
It's a good question.
I know you watch the channel, so you know the terms.
I watch the channel every day. Yeah. When we think that there's going to be a big move, just to cover ourselves, I'm bullish on the stock. I don't know. It could be going down. I was wrong. It went down last week. I thought it was going to go up.
Yeah.
But we really want to cover ourselves for earnings for sure. So if there's earnings coming up, for sure we want to have a long call. But we have to get closer to at the money, more risk of going in the money with our long calls. But we do it on almost every single stock. Misty, because of the vol, you would think that, okay, the vol is down from 150 to 70. Why can't you buy long calls all the time? Well, there's a vol skew in the calls. that makes it much more expensive to buy the upside in MSTR.
Yeah.
So it's prohibitively expensive to buy those out of the money calls in MSTR because of the expectations that on any given day, the stock could be up $30, $40, 10%.
Exactly.
So just because the vol's down doesn't mean it's easy to buy these long calls. It's not. It's
so
actually
you'd have to go
harder.
way down, or
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, way up in price.
We'd have to sell our call way close to
Yeah.
at the money or go way up.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't so bad last week. So that's why we did, you know, 25% of the fund with it. But it's hard to do, harder than it used to be. When the vol was sky high at 140, it was actually easier to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy to think about, but it was because the calls were just so high in all the strikes.
Yeah. And Wolf got it right. We're like Monday morning quarterbacks, right? Without all the information.
That's okay.
We're judging
That's
you
fine.
guys, you know. And I'm the big culprit of that, right? I think I'm getting better in time though.
We all are. It's just human nature, and it's money. So
yeah,
totally
exactly.
get it. Like,
and it's fun. It's fun to learn. Like I always say, as much work as sometimes some days are when I bitch to you about the trade, like it is fun still to see, you know, how it works and everything.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have your hard-earned money with the fund, so yeah. I think about it every day. Try to do the best I can for the shareholders, and we all do. It's a team. There's a team, you know, Quinn who manages Ulti, Matt and Chris and Drew and Eric. These guys, they're all day, every day. It's all they're doing is looking at these funds.
Ulti, man, that cannot be easy. I look at that fund, I'm like,
so Quinn and Ziv, and so Quinn, he's down in Palm Beach with Jay in an office, and he's the main trader on Ulti. And we're over. We use Teams communicator. We're on Teams. We talk all day. It's a full-time job, just that one fund for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, we're at the we're a little past the hour.
That's okay. You know, I'm up. If people want to, it's up to you. Whatever you want to do.
All right. Well, I don't think I saw. Did you happen to see any questions I missed or comments that I missed that you wanted to speak of, or do you think we're good?
I'm just gonna read through.
Yeah, I mean, I know ROC came up, so something like this always comes up, right? Get better estimates. I mean, it's really hard, right? Because
that is when they do give you your statements. That's a regulatory thing that has nothing to do with us. It's a regulatory thing that gets straightened out at the end of the year. But really, I'd say that question that came up a couple minutes ago about when it's time to roll, because every single fund faces this dilemma of the stock, your calls are in the money, your upside is starting to get capped. At what point do you want to unlock the upside and pay a little bit to buy back those calls? Because we all know if the stock goes back down, that's not a good look for us because we were wrong. But we try to open up the upside. And at what point does it make sense to do that? And I'd say that is probably the number one question that should be asked and studied and looked at when we do buy back our long calls and our short calls and what we do against it. So I know that you cover when we buy them back, but you don't really cover what is sold that much with that when we buy them back. And that is just as important. The strike price we pick, the time frame we pick, because we're not going to just buy it back and do nothing. We're going to sell something at the exact same time and most likely sell the same week to try to get that real short term, we call it, like a double dip, which is where you're selling twice in the week to try to capture more premium.
So if we look here, I'll just give an example, right? I don't know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so this is Tesla. Their lowest strike right now, 315. It's in the money, barely. So I'm like something like that. You're probably not going to do anything with on the Monday, right?
Yeah.
You do have the call. You do have the, it's a credit call
so
spread.
The 335. So that call is around $8.25. So that puts the stock at 323.25. So there's still about $7 of extrinsic. 323. You got the stock at 316, right? So it's just barely in the money. So that thing's got a long way to go. So the calls that were long against that are the 335s. You see those?
Yeah. Right here.
Yeah. Okay. So right now, those are $2. There is $7 of extrinsic value left in our short calls. Now, let's just say the stock was three. Let's just call it 322 right now. 322.
Okay.
So if the stock was 322,
here, I'll plug it in. There we go. And it's 2% in the money.
Okay, 322, and the calls are $8, right? So and it's Wednesday. So we just fast forwarded 2 days, and it's Wednesday. Now those calls are $8 still because time went by. So there's $1 of extrinsic left. We made all the money on the price of the stock going up. Our calls didn't go up that much because it's losing time premium. There's only $1 left. But our long 335s now with the stock up at 322, they could still be worth $2. They lost a lot of time value too, but not as much because they didn't have as much to lose. So those could still be $2. So we will buy back those short 315s, pay that extra $1 to get out of them, and sell our long calls for $2. So net, we captured the whole gain. We bought back the call for $9.
Yeah,
that's okay because we sold the long call for $2. So we netted $1 in extrinsic on that. And then we're going to sell a call probably at like the 325 strike for the same week. That's probably going to be like a $4 or $5 call.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's a perfect example of something right there. So right now they're not even close. There's a lot more money to be made on the upside on those that are just in the money right now.
Yeah, exactly. So if Monday happens, Tesla doesn't move, it end up at 316, more than likely nothing's really going to happen with these.
Oh,
right?
no.
It doesn't make,
yeah, there's way too much premium left.
Exactly.
There's $7 of extrinsic meaning the amount of premium over parity. So parity on those calls would be $1 if the stock's $1.06. They're $8.45, so there's $7.39 of extrinsic value that we're going to gain over time.
Yeah.
That we're going to distribute with the income. So that's the exact calculation that we're going to do to determine if we roll early.
Yeah. None of the other ones that I really cover are in the money.
It's unusual to have something in the money on a Monday. It's usually because the stock made. So with Tesla, we know that it went down big early in the week. So this was probably one of the first rolls Matt did on.
Exactly.
And then the stock rallied, and he spread out all the way to the 332s, which is great. This is a great position.
Yeah.
He spread all the way up. Most of the calls, I'd say average of it, the call around 322-ish, around there. There's a bunch up around 325, 27, 32. And then he's got all the long calls in case it really, really rockets.
Yeah. They're ready. They're ready on Tesla.
Yeah. I think Coney's probably the same way set up. I don't think the calls are close to being in the money. No,
the lowest one is like almost 6%.
The vol in coin has really increased a lot.
Oh yeah. Coney's been doing real good.
Yeah. So 415 is the first one there.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I know. Like how you explained it, it's just really hard for me to gather that when you're closing out the trades, like figuring out how much more you made on the call versus what you had.
Yeah. I mean, it could look like we're paying a lot for the calls.
Yeah.
Like 10. I mean, sometimes we do $20, $30 when there's a giant move that gaps, but buying back a call for $10 that we sold at $5 isn't a bad thing. We're going to make more money for the fund when something like that happens than if I'm buying them back for 5 cents because the stock went down.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm glad we able to pull up an example of that scenario.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so for the dividends, you guys look at the vol week by week, each week it's on its own, and then take into account a little bit of the appreciation or not of the underlying.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's some big movers in this period. SMCI was a big mover.
Yeah. 239. So
And the ETF kept up with the underlying pretty much 1 for 1 on the upside. It did not lag at all.
So you're gonna pay 239?
No, I have no idea what we're paying, but I mean, we kept up. Chris, who runs that fund, that's a big move to be able to keep up with. A 15% move or something like that is a big move over a 4-week period.
Yeah, it's gonna
now,
be.
If it happens all in one day, it's impossible to keep up. But if it slowly happens, it's easier and easier to manage, and that's the way we like it.
Yeah. All right. No, I appreciate your time today. Obviously, I know it's early, and my videos are always early, but I wanted to do kind of like a different type of interview, a surprise like interview, but it seems it worked, right? We have 3,423 people between YouTube and X right now watching.
Oh, wow.
So
I had no idea so many people were watching.
Yeah, word got out. Yeah, I tell you now, right? But no. No, yeah. But in the beginning, obviously, keeping it quiet, and then that's how quick word of mouth, like they repost things, word gets out. But people love to hear from you. I'm sure you know that by now. So,
well, I'm very fortunate to be able to do what I love. I'm very appreciative of Jay and the Tidal team for bringing me on and allowing me to do what I love to do, which is options. And and I appreciate what you do, Mark, tremendously. We all do. And thanks to everybody out there that sticks up for us or puts facts out. The facts are really what matters. And listen, not every trade is going to be a great trade. I wish it was, but we make mistakes too.
Yeah, exactly. You can only do your best. Now, before we head out, I always do a keyword, and I know you know that probably. If you make it to the end of the video, I don't know if you make it that far. So instead of a keyword, I think we'll end it with maybe you asking a question to the community that they can answer for the people watching, not just now, but after. That way, if you're curious, you can read the comments later on either X or YouTube. So what is the one question, AKA keyword, that you would like to ask the community that you're
So it has to be a question that they're going to answer with just like one word?
Well, no, it could be whatever. They could type in whatever as long as they need to.
You're putting me on the spot. This is a tough one.
It could be multiple words. It doesn't have to be just any question.
I guess I want to ask the community. Well, there's a bunch of things I would love to ask, but what's the next fund that they want us to launch? What's the name? What is the number one name they would like to see YieldMax launch?
Okay. So what is the number one? Well, I guess either ticker or could be a
ticker.
Fund.
Yeah, ticker.
What is the number one ticker you would like to see them launch next? And what should that ticker be? We might as well have fun with that too, right? So
we love good names for tickers, and there's some people at YieldMax that are very clever and witty.
Yeah, that's that one guy. I forget his name.
Gavin.
Yeah, that's it.
Gavin is great. He is awesome.
Yeah,
love Gavin, and he comes up with the best ticker names.
Shout out to Gavin. We got to get him on here now.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. All right. So that's the question. That's the key word for today. So if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it to Scott and I, you have to type in what fund should launch next, what underlying, and what should the ticker be. And obviously, as always, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This video is for fun and entertainment. If you enjoyed this interview with Scott and I, hit the like button. If you have any questions for Scott or YieldMax, I don't know if he's going to read it, but you can leave it down below, and maybe they'll check it out.
I will read them, but I'm not allowed to comment on them. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Compliance puts the hands on me. I can't respond.
Yeah. I'll answer for you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay. But again, Scott, if you can hang on actually after I end it, and then we'll talk real quick. But to end the video, again, from the community and I on X and YouTube now, again, I'm double streaming. Just want to say thank you again for getting up the crack of dawn with us, joining us, and answering our questions. It's always a good time. We hope to have you back sooner than later. So if Jay
appreciate it.
But no, I appreciate it. All right.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you.
Thank you, everyone, for your questions, enjoying the live stream, and obviously watching after. All right. Thanks, Scott.